You're making $85,000 a year, maybe $120,000, perhaps even $150,000. You've climbed the ladder, earned the promotions, and your bank account looks nothing like it did 5 years ago. So why does it feel like you're running faster just to stay in place? Why does every raise evaporate within months, leaving you with the same nagging anxiety about money you had when you were making half as much? Here's the paradox that traps millions of high earners. The salary that was supposed to set you free is quietly keeping you locked in place. Not because you're bad with money, not because you're overspending on lattes, but because earning a good salary triggers a predictable chain reaction of financial decisions that systematically prevent wealth building while creating the illusion of progress. You feel successful because you're making more than most people around you. Your parents are proud. Your college friends are envious. But your net worth barely moves year after year, and you can't figure out why the math isn't working. This isn't about budgeting discipline or cutting back on dining out. This is about understanding how the modern economy is specifically designed to capture income at your level and convert it into consumption before it ever becomes wealth. Hit like and subscribe. Let's break down exactly why this happens. The system you're navigating was deliberately constructed in the post-World War II economic boom, when the American middle class was engineered to become the engine of consumer spending. Economic planners realized something crucial. A population earning decent wages, but spending everything they make creates more economic stability than a population that saves aggressively. The entire infrastructure of modern life, from housing policy to tax code to retail psychology, was built to ensure money flows through your hands, not into your accounts. Consider the numbers. According to Federal Reserve data through 2024, households earning between $75,000 and $150,000, solidly middle to upper middle class, have a median net worth of just $206,700. That sounds reasonable until you realize this is total net worth, including home equity. The median liquid savings for this income bracket sits at approximately $8,500. Someone making $120,000 annually with less than $10,000 in actual accessible savings isn't an outlier failing at basic finance. They're the statistical norm, and that's not an accident. The architecture works through what economists call lifestyle creep, but that term makes it sound like a personal failing. The reality is lifestyle calibration. Your economic environment automatically recalibrates your spending to match your income through mechanisms you barely notice. Tax brackets, insurance premiums, housing costs, professional expectations, and social positioning all scale with income in ways that feel voluntary but are fundamentally structural. Let's walk through exactly how this plays out. Meet David. He's 34, works in tech sales, and just got promoted to senior account executive with a salary jump from $95,000 to $130,000. That's a $35,000 annual increase, about $2,100 more per month after taxes. David feels like he's finally made it. Here's what happens in the next 18 months. First, David's apartment lease is up. He's been living in a decent one-bedroom, but now that he's making senior-level money, he moves to a nicer neighborhood closer to the office, somewhere that matches his career level. The rent increases by $650 monthly. This feels justified because he's earning more and everyone at his level lives in similar places. The $650 isn't wasteful. The apartment is genuinely nicer, but the first extraction has occurred. Within 3 months, David realizes his 7-year-old Honda doesn't really fit the parking lot at client meetings. He's pulling up next to directors and VPs in newer vehicles, and it creates subtle status anxiety. He leases a $42,000 SUV, payments of $580 monthly. This isn't vanity. In client-facing roles, your car communicates credibility. David has entered the second extraction layer. Professional image maintenance costs that scale with income. The third mechanism is more insidious. David's social circle shifts. His colleagues earn similar amounts and socialize accordingly. Dinners move from $30 per person spots to $75 per person restaurants. Weekend activities shift from hiking to golf. A friend's bachelor party isn't a local weekend anymore. It's 5 days in Miami at $2,800 per person. David's monthly social spending increases from roughly $400 to $900, without any single extravagant decision. He's just matching the baseline behavior of his income peer group. Then come the invisible escalators. His health insurance premium increases because his employer's plan now qualifies as a Cadillac plan under healthcare regulations. $140 more monthly. His car insurance jumps because the new vehicle is expensive to repair. $85 more monthly. He's now in a higher tax bracket, so while he got a $35,000 raise, his effective take-home only increased by about $1,850 monthly, not $2,100. Let's calculate what happened to that raise. Housing upgrade, $650 vehicle payment increase, $580 social calibration, $500 insurance increases, $225, that's $1,955 of the $2,100. David has $145 left, except he also started contributing to his $401k at the 6% company match level. Good decision, but it reduces take-home. And he upgraded his gym membership because his schedule is busier, and he needs a place closer to work with better hours. David's income increased by 37%. His quality of life improved marginally. His net worth barely budged. And here's the crucial part. David didn't make bad decisions. Every individual choice was rational. He fell into the trap not through failure, but through succeeding exactly as the system intended. Now let's quantify what this extraction actually costs over time. If David had maintained his previous lifestyle and invested that $2,100 monthly raise into a simple index fund, averaging 8% annual returns, here's what happens over 20 years. $1,225,000. Over $1 million in wealth David won't build because the money was systematically redirected into consumption that scales with his income. This pattern repeats at every income level. Someone making $180,000 has larger numbers but identical dynamics. The $250,000 per year household living paycheck to paycheck isn't a meme. It's a documented phenomenon affecting approximately 36% of six-figure earners, according to recent surveys. The extraction mechanisms just scale up. Private school tuition, larger mortgage on the forever home, luxury vehicle expectations, country club memberships that become business necessities. The psychological mechanism that enables all of this is hedonic adaptation combined with relative status anxiety. Your brain doesn't evaluate wealth in absolute terms. It evaluates it relative to your reference group. When you earn $130,000, your brain stops comparing you to people making $50,000 and starts comparing you to people making $150,000. You don't feel wealthy because you're measuring against a higher baseline, which makes the lifestyle spending feel like maintenance, not luxury. This is why you feel financially stuck despite a good salary. You're not stuck because you're failing. You're stuck because you're succeeding at the wrong game, converting income into consumption rather than income into assets. And the entire economic infrastructure around you is optimized to make that conversion feel natural, necessary, and even wise. Breaking this cycle requires rejecting the automatic lifestyle calibration that comes with income increases. This is harder than it sounds because it means actively choosing to live below your apparent means, which creates social and psychological friction. But it's the only path from income to actual wealth. Step 1. Implement the anti-calibration rule immediately. The next time you receive a raise or bonus, before you tell anyone else, before you celebrate, lock in a decision. 70% of that increase goes directly to wealth building before it touches your checking account. Set up an automatic transfer to investments, additional mortgage principal, or business capital. This happens before lifestyle discussions, before apartment shopping, before you see that money as spendable. The remaining 30% can improve quality of life, but the majority never enters your consumption stream. Step 2. Audit your lifestyle for income-correlated spending. Create a spreadsheet with every recurring monthly expense. Flag items that increased in the past 3 years not because the service changed, but because your income changed. The nicer apartment you moved to not because you needed more space, but because you could afford it now. The subscription services that appeared because $15 monthly felt trivial at your income level. The vehicle upgrade driven by peer context, not transportation need. These are extraction points. You don't need to eliminate them all. but consciously choosing to keep them is different from unconsciously acquiring them. Step 3. Deliberately maintain one tier below your income peer group in visible consumption. This is the most socially difficult step. If your colleagues drive $50,000 cars, drive a $30,000 car. If your peer group lives in $2,500 month apartments, stay in the $1,800 month place. If your income bracket vacations in luxury resorts, go to nice hotels instead. This creates a permanent gap between what you earn and what you spend that compounds into wealth. Yes, you'll face questions. Yes, you'll feel occasional status anxiety. But the mathematical reality is that every visible consumption choice you defer multiplies into future wealth. And invisible net worth matters more than visible lifestyle. Step 4. Replace income goals with net worth goals. Stop measuring financial progress by salary. Someone making $95,000 with a $300,000 net worth is wealthier than someone making $150,000 with a $150,000 net worth. Shift your mental scoreboard from what I make to what I keep. This cognitive reframe helps resist the automatic calibration because you're measuring different metrics than your peer group. When they're celebrating salary increases that immediately vanish, you're tracking asset accumulation that compounds. Step 5. Build an anti-fragile buffer before lifestyle expansion. The rule: before upgrading any major lifestyle category, have liquid savings equal to 12 months of your current, not upgraded, expenses, plus investments equal to 1 year of your salary. This creates genuine financial stability, not the illusion of it. Most high earners have expensive lifestyles supported by consistent paychecks, but no actual security. If you lose your income, your life collapses within months. Real wealth means your lifestyle could continue indefinitely without your salary. The good salary that's keeping you stuck isn't the problem. It's the invisible infrastructure that automatically converts that salary into consumption before it can become wealth. You were taught that earning more would solve your financial stress, but the system recalibrates around every income increase, keeping you in the same relative position just with nicer stuff. The trap is subtle because you're not suffering, you're comfortable, but comfort without wealth is just an expensive treadmill. Now you know why the math hasn't been working. Every raise you've received triggered lifestyle calibration mechanisms designed to capture that income before it became capital. But once you see the system, you can opt out. You can be the person making $110,000 who builds more wealth than someone making $170,000 because you understand that income is just a tool. Wealth only happens when you keep more than the system. Extracts. The real financial divide isn't between different income levels. It's between people who convert income into consumption and people who convert income into assets. Your salary gave you the raw material. Now you can decide what you actually build with it. If this changed how you see the relationship between earning and wealth building, let me know in the comments what clicked for you. The path to wealth isn't earning more, it's keeping more of what you already earn.